two reasons: to lower taxes and bring real change to local government. My background is in governmental law, and I understand government thoroughly. Last year, Hoboken taxpayers were hit with a massive tax increase that was many millions of dollars more than necessary due to the failure of the City Council to adopt a timely budget. That failure, that refusal to adopt a budget, despite the statutory responsibility to do so, despite a state order to do so, prevented the city from sending out tax bills. The failure to send out those tax bills in a timely manner resulted in an unnecessary surcharge in two tax quarters, that was many millions of dollars more than would have been necessary had those bills gone out in time. We had an option to vote for a 7% tax increase on June 1st, 2008, June 1st of last year, pass a budget, avoid a state takeover, comply with our statutory responsibilities to do so. I argued strenuously in favor of taking that course, adopting that budget, avoiding the state takeover, assuming the 7% tax increase while we had that opportunity, and the council majority refused to do that. That council majority includes most of the either declared candidates or soon-to-be declared candidates in this race. Instead of adopting that budget, my opponents voted to provoke a state takeover purposefully and knowingly, and that resulted in a 47% tax increase and enormous hardship for the citizens of the taxpayers of the city of Hoboken. I voted for that budget with a 7% tax increase. I would vote for it again. I voted against the state takeover. I would vote against it again. At that special council meeting on June 1st, 2008, I warned that the taxpayer would guarantee the largest possible tax increase. That was a quote that Mr. Carroll's newspaper published that very weekend. They would guarantee the largest possible tax increase. My opponents disagreed. I was right then, I believe I was right then, I would still vote the same way, and my opponents were wrong. And Hoboken taxpayers paid an enormous price because of the political games played with last year's budget. Now, Hoboken and its taxpayers face another choice. We can spend all or some or none of that additional surcharge that had to be levied in last year's budget, and that should never have been raised, or we can lower the tax levy in the next budget by the same amount. Today, I'm the first candidate for mayor to put my position on the record and make it perfectly clear. I will return every dollar of that surcharge back to the taxpayer by an equal reduction in the tax levy. None of this money will be spent on personnel, programs, or services. Not when times are this tough, not when job insecurity is as high as it is, not when property values are plummeting, not when we have this budget crisis that we've landed in because of the dysfunction of our local government. Every penny will go right back to the taxpayer. That's my position. I want to make it clear. We're going to have a lot more to do beyond that, though, to lower taxes and bring real change to Hoboken. As mayor, I pledge to lead an open, honest, and transparent government that puts taxpayers first at all times. My first and last question in every position, in every possible measure, every possible decision that would come across my desk if I were the mayor would be guided by one simple standard. What does this do to benefit the taxpayers of the city of Hoboken? And that will mean revolutionary change for our city. I close my remarks with a final observation. Today is the 200th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. In his second annual message to Congress, Lincoln asked the question, still the question recurs, can we do better? The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. Hoboken is in what I think everyone would agree is an unprecedented point in its history, between the budget crisis, between the state takeover, and between the gridlock that has now gripped local government. I think it has brought us to a point in our history that is a shameful milestone in the city's history. Extricating the city from this crisis, getting us beyond our current financial difficulties, ending the state takeover is going to require new ideas, a fresh perspective, real leadership, so that we can move the city towards more promising and better days ahead. Thank you again. I'll take any questions from the press.